Hi, welcome to Paying Attention. This is DeLon for bodybuilding into the new age. And today I'm going to briefly go over my personal experience and some information that might benefit you in the future if you are considering using glucocorticoids such as recombinant human growth hormone. And so the good thing about human growth hormone is it already occurs naturally in your body. So by exogenously administering it, you don't have to worry about too many side effects other than excessive bone differentiation, which I'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, HGH has great properties on its own as a muscle building synthesizing proliferator, and it does this through a variety of actions. And some of those actions are anti-lipolytic inhibitors, such as insulin receptors. It inhibits those so that you don't have to worry about upregulating your pyruvate acid or through glycolysis and then having glucose leave the cell, because you need that glucose for energy to convert into ATP. And so what it does do, not only does it prevent that, but it also spurs on gluconeogenesis, which is, in addition to lipolysis, a way your body generates energy, but from other sources than glucose, and converts them into ATP. And three of those sources are lactate, which is the waste from your ATP carboxylic acid cycle. And then the second one would be glycerol, which is a non-esterified 3-fatty backbone acid that is also used in the esterification of fatty acids in adipose tissue. So not only is it using its lipolysis to break up lipid storage and fats in your cell, but it's also taking those glycerols and using them for energy through the TCA cycle. And the last thing it uses is amino acids, and these are all sub-processes of glucogenolysis, or gluconeogenesis. I mixed up glycogenolysis, which is intermittent fasting, which it spurs that on as well. But today I'm just going to be talking about kind of some of its anabolic synergistic effects and what that means for you in your bodybuilding endeavors. So glucocorticoids have a couple of features with them other than spurring protein synthesis through anabolic synthesis that already take place in your cell. And some of those processes are the lipolytic effects and the inhibiting anti-lipolytic effects of that glucocorticoid, more specifically recombinant human growth hormone. And so what it basically does, and it does this in several ways. One, it inhibits lipolysis, which is the conversion of your fatty acids into energy, or lipogenesis would be that, but lipolysis is actually the breakdown of fatty acids into energy for the carboxylic acid cycle. And so when it does that, it breaks down your fat cells, and as a consequence, you look skinnier. And so not only is it spurring on lipolysis in your fat cells, but it's using gluconeogenesis to provide those fat cells as energy for ATP at the same time. So it's almost like a double entendre. So it's breaking up that fat, and then it's using that fat as energy. And then not only is it doing that, but it's stopping that fat from getting stored in other processes such as your insulin receptors and your androgenergic A2 signal G coupling protein receptors. And so it's kind of flanking your anabolic synthesis of protein and on all sides. And so it is no wonder that HGH is turned off in your pituitary axis after you go through puberty, or it diminishes greatly. And so back to some of the side effects that HGH has is it lacks bone differentiation. So it's great for sports injuries, for injured athletes who have tendon issues and connective tissue issues from sports-related injuries, as it will actually go in there and through myoblasts and fibrillar action repair that connective tissue through calcium and vitamin D. But in addition to that, I did mention that it's got synergistic effects with anabolic steroids, and the way that it does that is it stops your steroids from basically catabolizing amino acids, and it uses those amino acids for gluconeogenesis instead to generate ATP, so that not only are you getting fat used as ATP, you're inhibiting fat from getting converted into fat, or fatty acids into adipose tissue, and then you're spurring the synthesis of protein at the same time, and you're getting better connective tissue in your injured joints. So what's not to love? Well, I did mention there were some side effects, and I'll show you. I don't really have any pictures of them, but I can just tell you from personal experiences that I've heard from other people is that they get swelling from that lack of bone differentiation, osteoblasts that they experience through when they take the hormone and administer it. And so I didn't ask him how long it lasted, but I have heard that before. And so if you're worried about swelling in your joints, definitely stay away from human glucocorticoids, more specifically recombinant human growth hormone. But I personally enjoyed it. I loved it. I did about 10 IUs, and then I coupled that with intermittent fasting or glycogenolysis the last 6 days. And so the first 6 days I used about 700 milligrams of Trenbolone and Anthate with it, and then 10 IUs of HGH in combination with each other. And then the last 6 days I just came off the bulk. So I'll bring up a couple pictures of them real quick so you can see. The one on the left is when I started on day 1, and then the photo in the middle is day 3, and then the photo all the way on the right is this morning. And I actually gained a pound of muscle, so I'm assuming it's muscle just by the photos. And yeah, that's just to show you how effective nutrition, hormone therapy, and exercise can be if you use them in conjunction with one another responsibly. And so I'll post more information on the Pain Intention website so you can check out in detail the different doses and what days I did what, in case you want to mimic it on your own, or you're just curious as to more of the details of the science of it all, and you want to, see if it can help you in any way, or maybe you have a sports-related injury and you get some clicking in your semi-novular fluid or what have you, and or some popping, and you got some articular cartilage that needs to be smoothed out, so maybe that lack of bone differentiation will help you there. But yeah, I'll just post that all on the website, and you can check that all out for yourself. And please let me know down in the comments below if you have any questions, or you're thinking of doing recombinant human growth hormone on your own, and what your experience was. I'll see you in the next video.